orientation. It just has to be something that you can reference every morning, that has enough space to record at least a dozen items for each day. A list. Some second is a list, some piece of writing materials that you can update throughout the day. These you do have to carry around with you, so make it something simple like a sheet of paper ripped out of notebook each morning. The basic idea: record all of your to-dos and deadlines on your calendar. This becomes your master schedule, the one place that stores everything you need to do. The key to our system, however, this is that you need to deal with your calendar only once every 20 hours, 24 hours each morning. You look at it to figure out what you should try to finish that day. Then throughout the day, whenever you encounter a new to-do or deadline, simply jot into down on your list. The next morning you can transfer this new stuff from your list onto your calendar where it's safe, and we are back where we started. That's it. Pretty simple, right? The whole system can be summarized in 3 easy steps. Jot down new task and assignment on your list during the day. Next morning, transfer these new items from your list onto your calendar. And 3. Then take a couple of minutes to plan your day. Now, we'll examine these steps in a little more detail. In particular, we need some strategies for how to plan your day each morning using your calendar, and what to do when unexpected events interfere in turns that plan upside down. Trust me, this will happen more often than not. Update your calendar each morning. This is where the magic happens. Every morning, spend a few minutes to update your calendar and figure out what you should try to accomplish. This is the only serious time management thinking you have to do for the whole day. So the demand is pretty reasonable. This updating process should proceed as follows. Find your list from the day before. It will probably look something like the example described in figure 1. Don't worry too much about how this list is formatted. We will discuss that shortly. For now, focus on the things to remember. Column which contains the new to-dos and deadlines that were jotted down throughout the day. Figure 1. Sample list. Transfer these new items onto your calendar. Write the deadlines on the appropriate dates and write the to-dos on the days when you plan to complete them. Following the example of our sample list, you would first jot down the econ study group time under the Thursday's date and the French quiz under Friday's date. You would then choose a day to laundry and jot down a reminder under that date, and choose a day to start internship research and jot down a reminder under this date. You can move these items around on your calendar as many times as you want, so don't worry too much about which date you initially choose for a new to-do. However, try to use some common sense. For example, if Wednesday afternoon and evening are packed with meeting and work, this might not be the best day to schedule doing your laundry. Similarly, if you have a big test Monday morning, don't schedule a lot of annoying errands for Sunday. You will need your concentration for studying. If something is not especially time sensitive, such as the internship research example from above, don't be afraid to put it on day far in the future, at a point when you know you will be less busy, such as right after midterms or at the beginning of a new semester. Next, move to the to-dos that you planned for yesterday but didn't complete to new days on your calendar. In our sample list from figure 1, the today schedule column describes to do so planned from the day before. As you can see in this example, all the to-dos were completed except the start French essay task, so you would need to move this task to a new date. At this point, your calendar once again holds everything that you need to get done. Now it's time to figure out your plan for the current day. Go ahead and trash yesterday's list. It served its purpose, and grab a fresh sheet of paper to use as today's list. Divide it into 2 columns as shown in figure 1 and label them today's schedule and things to remember respectively. Next, look at the calendar entry for the current day. It will probably contain a handful of appointments and to-do. Your goal is to figure out how much of this work you can realistically accomplish. You might be tempted to simply copy all of these tasks into your today's schedule column and then treat it as simple to-dos list for the day. Don't do this if you want to avoid getting overwhelmed by the work. You need to be smarter about your time. Here is what you should do instead. Try to label each of your to-dos for the day with specific time period during which you are going to complete it. Be honest, don't record that you are going to study for 3 hours starting at 3 if you know that you have a meeting at 5, and be reasonable about how long things really take. Don't plan to read 200 pages in 1 hour. For simplicity, group many little tasks around that takes less than 10 minutes into one big block. For example, 10 to 10:45 mail letter written, library book buy new deodorant, fill out transcript request from art register. Leave plenty of time for breaks. Give yourself an hour for meals, not 20 minutes, and if possible, end your day at an appropriate hour. Don't try to fit in work right up until sleep time because you need to be able to unwind and relax. In general, though, it may seem counterintuitive, be pessimistic. The truth is, things will come up. Don't assume that every hour that looks free in the morning will stay free throughout the day. Remember, the goal here is not to squeeze everything into one day at all costs, but rather to find out how many of the tasks listed for the day you actually have time to accomplish. If you can't fit all the to-dos into your schedule for the day, no problem. Simply move the remaining items onto calendar entries for the future dates. You can deal with them later. Your final step is to record the task you will have time for into the today's scheduled column of your list as shown in figure 1. Label each task with its time. That's it. You can now reference your list throughout the day to remind yourself of what you should be doing and when, but here's the important point. The specific times on your schedule aren't set in stone. They are more of a suggestion, as we will discuss shortly. You will be free move tasks around throughout the day depending on your energy level and unexpected events that may arise. The main reason you break down your to-dos into time slots is to help you avoid the common student mistake of overestimating your free time. Many well-intentioned students use a simple to-do list to keep track of their daily obligations, but without time labeling, they have no idea how much they can actually accomplish, leading to an unrealistic plan. A 12-hour day seems like a large amount of time, but when you account for meals and classes and meetings and breaks and socializing, your schedule suddenly becomes a lot tighter. The equation is simple. If you overestimate your free time, then you are likely to put off work until it's too late. And this leads to all-nighter panic attacks and shitty performance. A realistic sense of time is arguably one of the most important tools of time labeling your to-dos. You will be well along your way toward developing the crucial trait. Use the list during the day. As you move through your day, use the rough schedule recorded under today's schedule column to remind yourself what you should be doing. Keep in mind that the student lifestyle is generally quite unpredictable. Things will always come up at the last minute. Work will take longer than expected. Your roommate will point you towards some absurd website that immediately demands an afternoon of your security. You know how it goes, so adjust your time levels as many times as needed. But don't procrastinate excessively. The list you constructed in the morning should contain a reasonable amount of work, so if your schedule doesn't become too unexpectedly crazy, you should be able to accomplish most, if not all, of these tasks. In general, if you are completing most of what's on your list at least 5 days out of 7, then you are as productive as any student realistically needs to be. If not, don't worry. The next section of the part 1 will teach you how to combat your urge to procrastinate. Remember, your list also serves another important purpose. During the day, you will probably encounter various new to-dos and deadlines that need to be scheduled. For example, a professor might announce the date of an upcoming exam, or a friend might give you the date and time for an upcoming study group. The key is to get these obligations out of your head as soon as possible so your mind is not unnecessarily cluttered. Jot down a quick reminder on your list in things to remember column as soon as they occur. This takes only a few seconds and then you can forget about them. The actual scheduling of this task will take place the next morning. All you have to do for now is scribble a few words on a piece of scrap paper. Remember, to-dos and deadlines that exist only in your mind drain your energy, distract your attention, create stress, and are more likely to forgotten. When you are working, you should be able to concentrate on working, and when you are relaxing, you should be able to enjoy relaxing, but you can't devote 100% of your energy to any activity when